Every one of us carries within us a story written not in words, but in our very DNA. And what if I told you that deep within those 3.16 billion base pairs, hidden in the fabric of our biology, are secrets so dark, so twisted, that they might just change the way we see ourselves? Secrets from an era of bloodshed, brutality, and near total destruction. Imagine a world where violent conflict was so widespread that it left a permanent scar on humanity. One so severe it still lingers in our genetics today. What if this cataclysmic event was the first global conflict humanity ever experienced? The kind that reached every corner of the inhabited world, making escape impossible? In 2015, researchers uncovered evidence of a catastrophic genetic bottleneck, something that had never been seen before in our evolutionary history. A sharp, unexplained drop in genetic diversity. And it wasn't caused by natural disasters or disease. No, this was something far darker. This was violence, human violence, so extreme that it wiped out nearly an entire generation of men. By analyzing the chromosomes of modern populations, scientists discovered something shocking. Only a few thousand years ago, during the late Neolithic period, something happened that nearly erased the male population of the Old World. Europe, Asia, the Middle East. Researchers estimate that up to 95% of men were wiped out, leaving only 1 in 20 men to survive. This wasn't just some natural event like a volcanic eruption or famine. No, this was something far more deliberate, more human. When scientists looked deeper, they found a peculiar pattern. The genetic bottleneck only affected men, specifically the Y chromosome, passed down through fathers to sons. Women? They remained largely unaffected. This could only mean one thing: unprecedented violence targeted men, sparing women. And it wasn't just a few isolated incidents. Archaeologists have found over 250 sites across Europe where violent deaths occurred, dating back to the Neolithic era. Massacres, raiding parties, and brutal attacks on unsuspecting villagers were all too common. Evidence points to a time when death came swiftly, and it came in waves. Take the massacre at Talheim, Germany, around 5000 BC. Scientists unearthed 34 bodies, all killed with brutal force. No signs of defense, no indication that these people fought back. These victims weren't warriors. They were victims of an ambush, executed while fleeing. The brutal killings were aimed at the head, with nearly all the skulls showing lethal cranial injuries. But what's even more chilling? Among the dead, there were children, elderly women, but almost no young women. They were likely captured, taken as spoils of war, used as trophies by the attackers. This wasn't just a fight for survival, it was a campaign of terror designed to leave nothing but destruction in its wake. Then, there's the Herxheim Massacre, a sight unlike any other. Over 1,000 bodies, mutilated, dismembered, and scattered across the land. These weren't just random killings. These were ritualistic acts of violence, performed by a group so ruthless, they systematically broke bones, severed skulls, and consumed the remains of their victims. These warriors weren't just fighting, they were engaging in a horrifying practice of skull cultism. They believed in the power of the human head, using it in rituals, even consuming it for its fatty, prized brain. But why? What caused humanity to descend into such chaos? Why did this violence spread so far and wide? Many theories exist. Some believe it was the Neolithic Revolution, the birth of agriculture, that sparked this madness. Settlements meant food, power, and wealth, and with wealth came war. Before this revolution, humans were mostly nomadic, hunter-gatherers, but with the rise of farming, humans started to settle, grow food, and build villages. And with villages came competition, jealousy, and the desire to control. Weapons grew deadlier, and the stakes higher. Neighbors became threats, and in the chaos, some men and women saw violence as the only way to survive. But what happened next? How did this violence come to an end? Was it the rise of civilization, trade, diplomacy, or something else entirely? As humanity grew more organized and trade and diplomacy began to take hold, things eventually cooled down. Violence became less frequent, societies more complex, And though conflict never fully disappeared, it became less deadly, less brutal. Fast forward to today, and the world we live in is far more peaceful than that dark, violent era. Today, we live longer, safer lives, free from the horrors of skull cults and savage warriors, but we still carry the scars of that ancient conflict within us, written in our very DNA. And perhaps, it's this dark history that reminds us just how far we've come. Thank you for joining me on this dark journey through time. Until next time, remember, our past is always with us, hidden in the very cells of our bodies. Stay curious and stay safe.